right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wabebe Experience. Wabebe! 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 Shukisha tamu, shukisha tamu, shukisha tamu, pandisha tamu. Wabebe! So, ladies and gentlemen, my good name is Wabebe Experience alongside DJ Carrion. Welcome to Wabebe Experience. I know it has been a tough season, so let's start it like this. So, Carrion. Ladies and gentlemen, giving up ain't an option. Say,
lakini kesho you never know.
Say,
nasema leo umekosa moyo, lakini kesho you never know. Nasema leo umelemewa, lakini kesho you never know. Nasema leo umekosa moyo, lakini kesho you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. You never know.
What do you say right now? Say, weka hizo mikono juu, mikono juu, mikono juu, mikono juu. Woi, mikono. Woi, mikono juu, mikono juu, mikono juu, mikono juu, mikono juu. Woi, pull up. Chini, chini, chini. Choo, choo, choo. Chini, chini.
Hear you say,
Now yo.
I was born as a winner. I chop like a chopper. I burn like a fire. I can do it so many times. Born in the ghetto. Gotta be proud. Can't wait till tomorrow to win my pride. I won't stay in the gutter. Ain't nobody
Winner, boss, right now, let's go.
And I'm a winner. Got to believe in
Say,
you know that
I'm a winner.
Got to depend on you know
Say,
that I'm a winner. Shower it up for you know that I'm a winner. Got to
now
believe
the candle. Well,
do away with your
if things are not happening, things are not working, you do it left right now.
Now look at the people struggling, children suffering. Blame the system. So much suffering, bigger stuttering. The love is missing. The people struggling, children suffering. Blame the system. So much suffering, bigger stuttering. That love is missing. Don't care for show love no more. I'm feeling so hurted to the core. Sort us out, we need the cure. Instead of fussing and fighting and praising our door. Togetherness from shore to shore and joy to joy. Don't you door, equal rights, you know the score. You could never ignore the people struggling, children suffering. So much suffering, bigger stuttering. That love is missing. The people struggling, children suffering. Blame your sick.
Say oh, say oh. Say oh, say oh. Hizo mikono juu. White. Kata.
Itakuwa ngori. Bila Yesu itakuwa ngori.
Kila mtu
Itakuwa ngori.
somebody say
Mwisho wa story.
Itakuwa
ngori. Bila Yesu itakuwa ngori.
tena.
Itakuwa ngori.
Somebody say
Mwisho wa story.
Ananishangaza nasema ulala, kumsifu kazi hakuna kulala. Amenipa mavazi na chakula, niko fresh, niko fridge.
carry on.
This is hell for you. Let me tell them evangelic from the kids. We got this to be the brand new. To them come back.
Every day.
You just want quiet. Every day you feel you just need go on.
Turn up.
Now we don't determination in salvation. My friend, the way we go.
Turn up.
One more blessing. I don't the blessing.
Tuombe kidogo.
I don't the blessing.
Usimama cho bless.
Them can't
Tuombe
stop me.
kidogo hivi.
I am blessed. I am
Turn
blessed.
up.
Every day of my life.
wake up in the morning.
And I lay my head to rest. Every day of my life, I am ready.
Wake up, go, go. Come down. Sit up. Wake up, come down, go. Sit down. Sit down. Wait. Let's go.
First of all, God him so. And in the tour system, you could get my soul. Anyway, sign it up. Another good reason you could invite.
Hey, Baba. Let's go. Weka hizo mikono juu, hizo mikono juu. Mikono juu, makofi ya makorino. Mikono zunguko.
Best of the true story.
Let's go. Weka juu.
So that's create. I'm not a man, but I'm a God man. Struggling to become somebody, but none of them can see me out of tragedy, can't you see? Hey.
What do you say?
God of mercy.
True.
Struggling to become somebody, but none of them can see me out of tragedy, can't you see?
To all the ganja planters, ganja users, what do you say?
I once was a ganja man, a liquor man, and a beater man.
Kingdom no more ganja man, no
bitter,
but a preacher man. Was a ganja man, liquor man, and a beater man. What kind of party is this? Say, party after party. Party after party.
Party after party, after party after party.
Wait.
Party after party.
Say no.
Party after party. Party after party, after party after party.
Wait.
Snap your finger them.
Snap.
Snap your finger them.
Go.
Your finger them.
Say no.
Hey. Snap your finger them.
Go.
I'm not sure anymore.
Turn up.
Who is knocking at my door?
What?
I'm not sure
Kamu tambui
anymore.
watiaji.
Who is knocking
Rudia
at my
tena.
door? Now when your name
Batman.
just them.
Evil. Wait.
People just them. Satan just
Say no.
just them. Remember the Bible. I tell you,
What
not just
kind?
them. Liar, not just them. Thief, not just them. Sinner, not just them.
Wait.
Not just them. All false prophet we are preach.
Say no.
Ati black chocolate,
Chocolate.
ni fine melanin bana toka nikapate.
Say, kanapenda.
Kenye mi wanapenda, so kanapenda toto, chupa na haga nono.
Ukitenda wewe unapewa nini?
Tenda we mapewa tako, kwangu ni clean so butafagia kwako. Nikuje ndogo juu utakula kushoto, usitake kuona na my dirty version. Nilijam nikasample mali yako, manzi yako na mpango wako wa kando. Tunapiga trio sam, tunakusengenya ni misi. Toto wa nyumbani, toto la home, Kenyan girl kanapenda ganji, she ain't a hoe. Bad bitch kwa hii party, vibe kutoka kwenye flow, joka na perform, joka na perform. TikTok kanapenda kuzitoka, TikTok kanakwanga TikTok, Big Pok kanapenda stick bro, Big Bomb bila kona Big Pok kanapenda kuzitoka, TikTok kanakwanga TikTok, Big Pok kanapenda stick bro.
One time. Let's go.
Ongeza kidogo on the monitors. Let's go. Turn it up.
One more time. Ladies. Let's go.
Say
Fucking sexy now your ears, man. Me a got us when you need man. Bring us up your body pretty please, man. That tight pussy girl a squeeze, man. Feed the backers.
Wait. Say no. Wait. Say no. Sema wabebe. Sema wabebe. Nikisema wabebe unasema experience. Wabebe. Shukisha tamu. Shukisha. Shh. Mandisha. Pandisha. Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Pandisha.
Tunarudi mali tuliacha. Let's go.
Hey.
Tena. 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 Listen.
Fucking sexy now your heels, man. Me a beg a goddess when your knees, man. Brace up your body, pretty please, man. In a tight pussy, gotta squeeze, man. See the backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, slap up your body so loud, man. Backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers is a gyal man. She want it hard on the floor like we not have mattress.
Party up in the air and every gyal a cock it up. Every gyal a follow lean and chuck a back it up. Anyone who want a gyal a band, they them have to cut. Me gyal a forehead and you need them have to touch.
Rock it up.
One round that is not enough. Fat pussy gyal, look how you make me cock it up. When me think oh gyal, me happier than a pillow. Every gyal a position in the dog.
The backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers, backers, backers is a gyal man. Backers.
Don't sound when I see the girl them bubble pan. If you love to see the girl them bubble, put up your hand. You play a song, the girl star bus blank. When the girl them tight, they fuck the girl one. Big selector a play, you no rookie. Catch the baseline, watch the girl them a shoot me key. When the girl them a do it, I'm a big funny man. If you not happy, follow me then. None of that talk, so me glad we come home. What you talking about? You don't want to see no
Sema shinwe. Wabebe. Wabebe.
Watu wa Manchester United wameamua Maniwa. Tunashika
pale attacking formula.
Tunashika nini? 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Wale 3 walikuwa hapa ni striking force.
Striking force.
Wakishaweka Gine kama Gine wasekao.
Gine wasekao. Lakini Arsenali.
We, usiongee nini matusi.
Niache.
Unajua kuna place inaitwa kuna trash hapa nje. Hapo hiyo trash inaitwa Arsenal. Tunawekanga takataka kwa hiyo ni. Buko hapa. Arsenali Arsenali ya. Ni mtu mmoja. Lakini Maniwa. Maniwa. Wapi kelele wewe? Yes, this is Wabebe Experience. I go by name of Willis, Raburu. This is Hypola. Make some noise for Hypola, wewe. Make some noise for DJ Karian, wewe. Tuko hapa hivi, man. The hashtag is Wabebe XP, and if you're all over the place, man, all we need to do is to go join the hashtag. I need you to follow us also, Wabebe XP, on on TikTok, Wabebe XP official on Instagram, on X is Wabebe XP main. And let's follow us over there, man. Let's have some fun. And also on YouTube, where you're watching from, Premier Gang. Thank you so much. Itakuwa pale hivyo. Ni Willis Raburu's Wabebe Experience. That's the name of the channel. Kwa channel. Welcome to my channel. Kwa my channel. Say welcome to my channel.
Umepiga?
Meanwhile, lazima tu nini luku. Luku. Yeah, kila kitu hapa hivi. Luku ni safi. First of all, make some noise for Brian Babu. Make some noise for Brian Babu. Stylist extraordinaire. Alafu, hii hapa hivi ni home. Unajua, we gotta buy Kenya, build Kenya. Hii ni home in the area code. Na pia nikitoa. Bado ni home. Unaona hapa kwa sleeve. Bado ni home. Yeah, because we home up in this. Ndo hiyo. Tuko nyumbani. Sema Wabebe! Wabebe! In the area code. Na pia ina nini. So nikifanya hivi A minor. They know like us. Hapo sawa. So muko tayari? Muko best? Naona hapa. Wewe ni wa Inter Milan. Huyu ni wa Westlands Associate. Baba, ini. Welcome back. Sema Wabebe! Say Wabebe! Yeah, man, tuko hapa hivi, tuko on, and thank you so much for watching us. We appreciate so much. So, Ladies and gentlemen, right about now, I want to introduce this next artist. Are you ready? You know, every time there's a lady who comes to the show, I appreciate because there's art that goes into it. There's finesse, there's style, there are moves. Wanaume wote nisikie vu 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 vu. Sema ho 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 ho. Wanaume, hey! Wanaume. And ladies, yeah. Ladies, yeah. Sema yeah. All right. One more time, ladies, yeah. Hapo sawa. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? I want to introduce you to a lady, Apa AV. She is amazing. She's super colloquialistic, explodocious. She has amazing music, and she's about to come through. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Then make some noise for Melina. Go! Let's go, let's go.
A WABEBE
Shit.
Daddy, oh daddy, the way you hold me, I'm crazy.
What you say?
I'm crazy. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Here we go, say.
In my lingerie, I take photo. He wants some more, he likes the pose.
What?
Me, I like this classy life.
Hey.
Diamond rings and plenty cash. Life of a city. It's just a fancy life we want. This is life and shillings.
Hey.
Life of a city. It's just a fancy life we want.
Hey.
All we have. Tender, let's go. My daddy, my sugar, my honey, my daddy, my daddy, my sugar,
My honey and my daddy.
my daddy, my sugar, my honey, my daddy, my daddy,
My sugar. My honey and my daddy.
my daddy, my sugar, my honey, my daddy, my sugar. Someone call the referee. I think I scored the lottery. Daddy spoil me, pay my bills. Me and my girl get tipsy, we get freaky. It's easy.
We don't need rubber.
Jimmy Choo Chanel bag in my rover. Tender.
Shillings.
Life of a city. It's just a fancy life we want. All we have in mind. Tender.
This is love and shillings.
Life of a city. It's just a fancy life we want.
All we got in mind is my daddy, my sugar, my honey, my daddy,
My daddy and my sugar.
my honey, my daddy,
My daddy and my sugar. My honey and my daddy. My daddy and my sugar.
my honey, my.
All right.
Thank you, darlings.
Yeah.
A WABEBE, bro.
Just a minute. Saseni. Wabebe. Mnakaa fiti sana. Lakini utali ameboeka, sijui mbona ameboeka. Acha tumchangamshe. Nataka kumweka kwa mood. I want to get you in the mood. Are you ready, darling?
Are you ready for the mood, ladies and
Turn
gentlemen?
it. Let's go.
DJ Carrion, Melina Gold. One time. Let's go. Well.
A WABEBE, bro. WABEBE, bro.
Satisfy my appetite, I'm greedy. Where do you want me? Drop your pin, I'll be there. The line is way too long, don't keep me waiting.
Usi blush.
Better make it worth it falling for you. Will you take my dress off me? Make me scream your name. Semona ni penda. Can it last all night?
Give it some
Sweet night tonight. Cause I'm in the mood.
Well.
I'm in the mood.
At what?
Give me some sweet love.
Tonight. Cause what?
Cause I'm in the mood.
I'm in the what?
I'm in the mood.
Let's go. Say.
I'm in the mood.
I'm in the mood.
I'm in the mood.
Hey.
I'm in the mood.
I'm in the mood.
Normally, I don't do this usually. Something potentially.
Trust me too, yeah.
Make me feel goosebumps on my body. Masculine energy. Send me your location. Nini, make me scream your name. Semona nipenda. Can it last all night? Take my breath off me. Make me scream your name. Semona nipenda. Can it last all night? 3, 2, 1.
Give me some sweet love tonight. 'Cause I'm in the mood.
Nini,
I'm in the mood.
Tende, give me some sweet love tonight.
I'm in the what?
'Cause I'm in the mood.
I'm in the what?
I'm in the mood.
I'm in the
Tende,
I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood, babe.
Tende, I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood, babe.
What? Lay. Ay. Wewe. Fulo DJ, fulo. Unajua kuna movie nyingine tumepigiwa tukiwa hapa. Hapa tu. Ya watu nini. I'm in the mood. Awora yawa. Hey. Wapi kelele Melina Gold wewe? Fire. Say give me that sweet love. I'm in the mood. What are we?
I'm in the mood.
Okay. Umeisema na more conviction na kuamini. Shake my hand yawa. You're in the mood. You're in the mood. All right, before I introduce Melina, of course, she has some lovely dancers here. We just like to get to know their names as well. Kwa majina unaitwa?
Desling.
Oh, mnamjua already. Okay, hebu sema jina tena.
Desling.
Hey! Wapi kelele ya Desling? Okay. Na wewe?
T-baby.
T-baby. Wapi kelele ya T-baby? Alafu wapi kelele ya Melina Gold? Hey! Yawa. Unajua mood imepigwa tu ha? Unajua uwezi piga mood kama umesoma hapo Kondele Aworo. Karibu sana. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know your music, first of all, ina tell story, iko na vibe, iko na sensation, from the videos, from the looks, from everything. What is it that you could say? What inspires Melina Gold? What is your inspiration?
My inspiration is definitely me. I'm a story.
Wewe mwenyewe.
Mimi mwenyewe I'm a story. So there's a way like hata nikiwa mtoto mdogo there's an image I had about Melina, like when she grows up, how will she be?
Yes.
You know, what does she love?
Yes.
So that literally gets me going because I uncover parts of myself every day.
So if, you know, because that's very important, because even for me when I was 7 years old, nilikuwa nimeambia mama yangu mimi nitakuwa kwa TV. But over the past, between 7 and the age I am now, and for you, between when you're young and you are now, there are many things that ilikuwa ni kama inago against what you want to be. So how did you push through and to become who you are today?
I think consistency and just believing in myself.
Okay.
Because I knew, God put that thing in my head for a reason. Yeah, so I had to follow every day.
Yeah. Na tukiona vile nimesema mood, unajua uwezi sema tu I'm in the mood. Lazima package, katika package. Usiseme package. Your package yako ni different. Okay. Good. You're in the mood. Okay. So like when it comes to your songs, what inspires your songs in terms of like your writing process and everything? Yeah.
So my inspiration for writing basically inakwanga anything.
Okay.
I could be in the mood and write about about mood. So anything really.
Yeah. So now because I know also, you know, like we were talking earlier, I told you for me, nilikujua more of fashion and styling and everything. So how do you merge those two? Because those are two very focal points and very passionate points for you. You could go one way and say, sasa mimi nimekuwa stylist kabisa, and then this other way, mimi nimekuwa msanii kabisa, but you have to find a middle ground. How do you do that for yourself?
I love both. You know, fashion comes naturally for me.
Okay.
Alafu pia usanii iko tu ndani yangu. So it's easy for me to balance both of them. Yeah,
sure. So let's talk about bounce, because bounce is you're going to perform first bounce up AV. So we know mood. Okay, first, because people are definitely in the mood here.
Naona kafiti.
Let's say.
For real, I love the glitter
and
everything.
Oh my God. So for between mood, take us to the story between mood and bounce. What's the story hapo katikati?
Mood is essential, is a sensual song. But bounce requires you to shake what your mama gave.
Hello.
Kila Kenya mtu alipewa stronghold yako tingisha hiyo. Mbele nyuma haijalishi.
Okay. Una shake tu. You just shake there. You una shake nywele. What inspired bounce? Like, where were you when the idea came and everything? What was that?
I was in the studio, and I'm always around, having a couple of guys around.
Okay.
So beat ikaekwa, and we were just vibing, and it just came about. Yeah.
So when you do that, so it's like a sort of Afro dancehall.
Yeah, it's an Afro dancehall. Yeah, exactly.
So for you, like when you're picking a genre to do, how do you pick so that at least Ubaki Bado, we still know ni Melina, hajapotelea kwenye dancehall, hajapotelea, like what's your sound?
Yeah, for me, I use African sound. So it can be Afro dancehall, Afro piano, like mode, as long as it has an African touch. And then I try to fix Swahili in my songs somewhere there. So of course, any identity here. Yeah.
All right. Of course, Pia I've been asking people, because this is the month of July, people always get shocked when July comes, now you only have about 6 to 5 more months left to make a move, to be in the mood, to bounce your way. So what is your plan for the rest of the year?
I have a couple of collaborations coming up. Like musically, I'll be out more. I have a couple of performances lined up. So I'm excited, like, to show Kenyans more of myself as an artist. Fashion pia tunaendelea. I think the next time watakuona hapa, or somewhere out there. Yeah, for sure. So we have big plans.
You can look up maybe styled by Melina. Yeah. Oh, lazima useme gold. All right, so I look gold. Very good. So look via gold is a manifest up hivi. So when you're in the songs, the collaborations, are you trying new sounds as well, or?
Yeah, for sure. I even have like one song with an urban tune artist. Yeah,
Kabisa.
For sure. So it's getting lit.
It's getting lit. That's good, man. We anticipate and we love when people are trying new things. And hapa hivi at Wabebe Experience, we say it's basically your home. So hata ukijaribu nini, hata ukikuja na Lingala, ama ukuja hata na nini, hata kama ukifanya Melina Gold gospel, hallelujah. Yeah, you can still come back here and we'll welcome you with open arms, because we know who you are on the inside, and it's gold. Wapi kelele ya gold.
Thank you, darling.
So where can people follow you, get to the music, look at these amazing pictures up, baby, get to the vibe, get to the styling and everything? How can they reach out to you?
Melina Gold, Instagram, YouTube, Melina Gold, basically everywhere, Melina Gold. Yeah.
Watafute na watapata. Wale watu wa mood. Kuna jamaa hapa aliitwa wapi? Aliitwa hapa hivi, hata kichanganyikiwa alikuwa tunasema hawa hata gold. Anasema oh. Okay, we just pray, it's getting goldy. It's getting goldy. Well, thank you so much. Your bounce is out, like she said. Make sure you follow Melina Gold on all platforms. And even if you wanted to do the styling and thing, unaweza ku DM.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, DM.
For sure. I'm open.
Hey, Rama kwa hapo hivyo. We out there. Na mkiona mumeshinda sana.
I'm very open. Too many DMs.
Okay, ukiona mimi nitawavet. Wale watakuja, mimi nikisuggest mtu ujue nimemvet. So hatakuja hapa na
recommend.
Tamrecommend, asikuja tu hapa na kusumbua ati ni style, anakuambia ati si twende to style home. We do not want the gine. Tabia za hedu. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming through. And also, I like to say, because of the effort you put, and which is something I need to tell all other artists as well. People don't appreciate the effort that artists put to their look, their feel. coming out with dancers, presenting yourself on certain way. So I appreciate you for doing that. And we'll never say you're welcome here. Hype Ola, Karian, Gogo, Claudia, Daffy, all of us. Anywhere, anybody you can reach to come here to Kondani pamoja sana. And like I said, this year we're also doing big things for our baby, and we know that you're going to be part of that story. So you are absolutely welcome. Make some noise for Melina Gold.
Thank you.
So, are you people ready to bounce? So, hii sasa ni Afro dancehall thing. Lazima mu amesema una shake ile kitu Mungu alikupatia. So kama uko na akili una shake akili. Kama uko na nini una shake. Na kama uko na nini una shake nini? Na kama wewe ni budu unawekelewa wapi? Aworo. Are you ready? Kama mtu wa Thailand. Hapo sawa. Buko ready? DJ Karen, you ready for the thing? Are you ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Make some noise for Melina Gold! And let's bounce. I said, let's bounce.
Where you at, bro?
Shit. Let's go.
Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it.
Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it like a what?
Hey.
Like a what? Bounce. Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it. Bounce it like a ball. Turn there. Bounce it. Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it. Turn there like a ball. Hey. Bounce.
Bounce it like a ball.
Hold up, I need a bucket for me. Water can make it rain up on me. Joto na madashiro. Atimbaka taki mtaka niongeze. This kind of love, I give it differently. Every time he make me baby, please. Blow the whistle, I make me do repeat.
Blow the whistle.
I make me do repeat. This kind of love, I give it differently. Every time.
Pull up. Now you know the starting. Sasa mnajua starting. Unaona pia hawa wana bounce hapa. Unaona SI unit ya kubounce sasa. Si ndio? Mko ready sasa? Are you ready? Wacha uchape Wabebe! DJ! Ladies and gentlemen, Melina Gold in the building. And we're bouncing all the way. We're bouncing all the way. Let's go.
Bounce it like a ball. Nini.
Bounce
it like a ball. Bounce it like a what?
Like a ball.
Like a what? Sioni mkibounce.
Like a ball.
Bounce it like a ball. Twende. Bounce it like a ball. Shikilia kitu like a ball. Hey. Bounce it like a ball. Hold up, I need a bucket for me. Water can make it rain up on me. Joto na madashiro. Atimbaka taki mtaka niongeze. This kind of love, I give it differently. Every time he make me baby, please.
Blow the whistle.
I make me do repeat.
Blow the whistle. I make me do repeat.
This kind of love, I give it differently. Every time he make me baby, please.
Blow the whistle.
I make me do repeat.
Blow the whistle. I make me do repeat.
Bounce it, yeah man. Hey, bounce it like a ball. Turn the bounce it like a what?
Like a ball.
Like a what?
Bounce it like a ball.
Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it like a what?
Like a ball.
Like a what?
Bounce it like a ball. Okay, danger.
How I move it, give him pleasure. Pressure make us call this game for him.
Make us call this game for him.
Pressure, how I move it, give him pressure. Pressure make us call this game for him.
Make us call this
3,
game for
2,
him.
1, let's go. This kind of love, I give it differently.
Every time
He make me baby, please.
blow the whistle.
I make me do
Blow
repeat.
the whistle. I make me do repeat. This kind of love.
I give it differently.
Every time
He make me baby, please.
blow the whistle.
I make me do repeat.
Blow the whistle. I make me
Turn
do
it,
repeat.
bounce it like a ball. Bounce it like a ball. Bounce like a what?
Like a ball.
Like a what?
Bounce it like a ball.
Bounce it like a ball. Bounce it like a ball. Bounce like a ball. Bounce it like a ball. Nice, thank you guys.
Good evening and welcome to our Aluta Continuo Town Hall collaboration between the Social Newsroom, which is under Semabox, and Africa Uncensored. My name is Mark Masai, and with my big brother by figure of speech, John Allan Namu.
Asante Mark, big brother by figure of speech. Let's keep it there, senor. Yeah, but Mark, yeah, it's really a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much to our live audience here, and to everybody who's following on online on our YouTube links, our various platforms. Obviously, the discussion comes at a very heavy time, a very, very difficult but interesting time in our history in this country, and Semabox and Africa Uncensored thought that it would be best, rather than do this on our separate platforms, to collaborate and have a collaborative discussion here between ourselves, all of you here in our live studio, and everybody else online. Mark.
And this is a very organic conversation. It hasn't been sponsored by anyone. Just need to put it out there first. But we'll be opening it to the audience here, and we have a very, very, very good audience, and we appreciate you coming here in good time. Nimeanza kusalimiwa online. Kuna watu hapa wamesema, Mark, tutakusalimia kwa sababu they've been online since 6 p.m. and we encourage the participation and comments as well there online. And I believe we will also simulcast this on X Spaces in collaboration with our respective pages at the Social Newsroom and Semabox, because, hey, we've seen that X is a new space and X marks the spot. But anyway, let me introduce you to some of our guests. I have Shefa Okore. She is a governance and development policy expert and a very good friend of mine from back in the day. Isipokuwa niko na deni yake. Good to have you with us this evening. Thank you for coming. After so many years, she hasn't been in such a discussion. Asante.
Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's good to be back.
Yes, and for a worthy cause as well.
Absolutely.
I'll also introduce someone who is joining us online. This is Boniface Mwangi. He is a People's Watchman and also an activist to some, a journalist to many as well, who have interacted with him in that capacity. The reason he hasn't joined us physically is because there is good reason that he stays safe wherever he is. So he'll be joining us online, and that is if online hakutanyongwa. So he'll be joining us shortly with his views as the journey that has been for the last about 4 weeks actually. It'll be a month from the 18th of June. So we also have Hanifa Adan, who is also going to join us physically though. She is currently following the postmortem of the bodies that were found in Mukuru Kwajenga at Kware area, because the postmortem procedures started this evening. So she's gone just to monitor that, and then will join us here shortly. But we also have other panelists here with us physically.
Other panelists in studio, and I mean, Mark, just before we introduce some of our panelists in studio, I'm just trying to recall the last time, or if ever, I've heard of a reason for someone being late for a live discussion as being having to attend a postmortem for tens of people who have mysteriously been murdered and nobody has a reason, just to underscore the heaviness of this past week and the heaviness within which we're moving into this week. But nonetheless, we're going to try and have as broad-based a discussion here. And one of the people who very graciously decided to join us is Mercy Tarus. From the Kenyan Home Initiative, but many people will have known her from standing up and speaking truth to power all those years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago, given how the events of this month have shaped up in Uasin County with regard to the Finland school fees saga. Mercy, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody here again and to salimia pia?
Kusalimiana hivyo lakini.
Kusalimiana.
Sitawasalimia hivyo. Thank you all for showing up. My name is Mercy Tarus from Kenyan Home Initiative. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, Mercy. To my right, in the blue suit, looking dapper, David Duke, lawyer and a crisis analysis and management specialist. If ever there was a time in Kenya that we needed someone like that, this is a person to speak to. So, David, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, last two. To my immediate left, we have a researcher, curator of The Elephant online magazine, as well as an economist, in as much as he doesn't like being introduced as one. Darius Okola, thanks a lot for joining us as well.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And last but not least, Senator Busia County crusader for human rights for many, many years, a leader. We discussed this before we went live. This is the first politician who's been on time for anything live. So he made the distinction that he's not a politician, he's a leader. Okiyah Omtatah, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Small correction.
Yeah.
Busia County does not have a senator.
Yeah.
it only produced a senator for the Republic of Kenya. So I'm a senator of the Republic of Kenya from Busia
From
County.
Busia County.
Not a senator of Busia.
All right. Noted. Well noted. We shall try and keep that in mind during the course of this discussion.
It's important because we have misunderstood and we begin pigeonholing ourselves.
Yeah.
I should be able to go to Nyeri and demand accountability from the governor. That's why I sit in the national office. I don't sit in the... You have been pigeonholed by not understanding that people simply elect you, but you are a servant of the Republic. And when you take that oath, you swear in the name of the Republic, not your small cocoon. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
So, Senator from Busia, representing everybody in Kenya. Thank you very much for that distinction. Mark.
I like that distinction. Not too long ago, he was at, I think it was Uhuru Park, when people were saying this actually should be probably the leader. So he's really separating himself. Don't localize him. He's from the full country, not just from Busia. Asante sana kwa kuungana nasi. And for those who are online, we will be with you in a bit. But there's a reason why we call this edition and this collaboration Town Hall Aluta Continua. And we'd like to get a feel from the room what it means to you in the context of what we are going through. So if we could have from the production team just handy, a mic handy, and I'll just ask anyone who could freely say what it means to them. Aluta Continua. You could start. You're looking right at me, so you could start. What does it mean to you in the context of what is happening right now? You can handle your mic.
All right, let me hand.
For me, it means taking stock of what started as an organic movement, bastardized by some. Soon enough, they had to take it seriously, and it's a force that has met so many people off their guard, and it's important for us to understand where we are in that context and what comes next so that we don't lose sight of where we're headed.
All right, thank you for that. Your name? Sorry you didn't get your name. It's good to know. This is why we have a town hall.
My name is Nyawira Mugure, an active citizen.
I like that. Anyone else? For them, what Aluta Continua means? I see a hand right there, right behind you. Rev, you could just introduce yourself and say what it means to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Reverend Mark Okuru Echakara. I come from the great county of Busia, where Senator Okiyah comes from. For me, when I think I look at Aluta Continua, what I see is an opportunity for us as a nation to have an objective conversation, even as we seek to reimagine our republic and to have a look at everything objectively and contextually and circumspectly, so that we don't just pigeonhole ourselves and railroad ourselves to run with one thing and ignore the other, so that we are able to appreciate the full context of where we are as a nation. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I think as a young person, the first thing that came to mind was Shere. Continue. Aluta. Yeah. But anyway, more seriously, I think Aluta Continua for me means 1963, struggle for independence, 1992, struggle for multi-party democracy, 2003, end of Moi, and then here we are. But the struggle still continues, so let's do this.
Just to give John a break on this. Oh, there's someone? Yeah, go ahead.
Just to give also a Pan-African perspective, as an Ethiopian living in Nairobi for a long time, I also see this as a call for our neighboring states. We're looking at elections in Rwanda, which are questionable, to say the least, movements in Ethiopia that are overwhelmingly authoritarian. And so what's happening in Kenya will have a domino effect, and that's very inspiring and very encouraging.
I like that Pan-African perspective. Anyone of the ladies behind me? I know she's not looking at me, but Aluta...
What does it mean? Lakini Mark, that was just an ambush. That was an ambush. But anyway, hi everyone. My name is Michelle Nyaga. For me, I think every day living in Kenya, the struggle continues in each and every aspect that we're living in right now. It may sound funny, but we really have to ensure that there's a country for our children, and that's why I'm here.
I wasn't laughing because it sounds funny. I was laughing because of how deep that is. In Kenya, it is a daily thing. Aluta Continua.
True.
That is and that's why I handed the mic to you. It's called intuition. I could feel it was
Instinct.
coming from this end of the room. Yeah, but John, there's a reason why we titled it this way.
Yeah, for sure, Mark. And it's picking off of pretty much everybody in the room's answers. And it's really the question of struggle and strife that Kenya has been through over the past 60-odd years, perhaps even longer, if you consider our pre-independence. But to this moment today, and locating our struggle in this moment today, the economic struggles, we are in deep economic crisis. And that's something that we need to have some sort of resolution to. We are in political crisis. As we saw on the 25th of June, the mace was taken out of the National Assembly, and that has huge symbolic power, right? And there needs to be resolution going forward. There is a crisis of identity in my view. I think this is really a moment where culturally we are starting to think about this question of who Kenyans are, what Kenya is, what is our political identity, what is our identity culturally, right? And how do we define that going forward? And obviously there's the question of the current crisis, right? There have been huge protests, there have been numerous deaths. And I think it's important for us to remember that we are sitting here in the context of over 40 deaths that happened just within the past 1 month out of political, economic, and cultural questions. So this really isn't, the luta continua of the bush struggles of Frelimo, but rather speaking more locally to the struggles that we are having here and the hope that we'll be able to resolve these questions going forward.
You speak about, and one death is one too many, but we have at least on record, at least for now, as at today, over 40 have been killed, over 400 injured, and there's still families looking for their loved ones who are missing ever since the protests began. And there are still people who are living in fear because they feel that they're being followed. Case in point, some of our panelists who have not been able to join us physically. And this is because they feel that they're being followed and tracked down in whatever they're doing, because somehow the government feels they need to find who's the leader of this movement. And in that way, try to stop it at the source, because it seems that's the thinking. But as we have seen, it's been an organic movement over the years. And on the 25th, as you said, sites that we never imagined, at least, yes, when the peaceful protests began, people did say, let's occupy Parliament. It happened. That mace was in a civilian's hand, very symbolic. And after that, on the 26th, the president said he would withdraw the Finance Bill 2024 and take it back to Parliament. Then we have on 11th July, the president dissolves the cabinet. And after that, we see the resignation of the IG, Japhet Kwame. And someone might sit and ask, since we started the peaceful protest, since it started, if you look at those developments, and this is where I come to the panel, and I'll start with you, Mercy. Would you say it has been worth it since the peaceful protests began, with all the developments that we've had?
First of all, I think this thing started way before it became 1 month ago. This thing started probably 1 year ago, maybe 1.5 years ago. And it has just been boiling. You know, online we are saying things are boiling nicely and we think it's funny, but the pressure has, again, been increasing. Because you see, you put leaders in position, you want them to do something for the people, and then they don't do that, they take it, the pressure keeps increasing, and eventually people are just tired. And it is not something that began like 1 month ago, it is not something that began 3 months ago. This thing has been building up to what we saw since 1 month ago. And so I think it has been worth it. We would not be having this discussion otherwise. And also, in an ideal situation, we would never be here. Things would be working, the system would be working, and everything would be going as it should. But now, because they are not working, we have to come out. And because everyone came out in their own capacity, then it has been worth it.
Mercy,
Yes.
I want to stay with you for a second. If things
Okay.
were working, where
Yeah.
would you be today?
If things were working, I would be pursuing my master's in Canada. And if things were working, 379 others of us in Wasingishu would be in either Canada or Finland. And it's not a thing to escape. We are not trying to escape Kenya. We are trying to go learn what is this that these people are doing that we can bring back to our country and make things work. So if things were working, if we were in an ideal situation, I would be pursuing my master's.
And yet you're here with us.
Yes,
years
we are
later.
having this discussion and we have lost people. We have lost our friends, we have lost our family members, and some of us are being followed and threatened. And you don't know whether you will be here tomorrow or the day after that, but we have to do this.
It sounds like you're speaking from a very personal place when you're saying people have been threatened, people have been followed, people have had to change their lives. Could you share with us what you mean?
Okay. So, since this thing started, a few people have attributed this 1 month ago thing, our struggle in the Gen Z protests, which I think is wrongly named, by the way. I don't think it's a Gen Z thing. It's a Kenyan thing. Everyone is. It's not only Gen Zs who are suffering. It's not only Gen Alphas who will suffer in the future if we don't do this. Our parents, our grandparents, all of them. And so when I say people have been threatened, it's actually true. So first of all, when the Finland-Canada scandal came to the light, I was offered a job. I declined because it's not about me. And again, I was not doing that looking for a job. I want things to work. And because probably they have not worked, give me back my money. Now, I was offered a job, I declined, which even if I were returned into that situation 9 months, maybe 10 months ago, I would still decline. So there's that, and then they would call for dialogue, come let's talk. Have you asked for a job that we have refused to give you? Have you asked for an appointment that someone has refused to grant you? Mercy, what do you want? Is it, because if it's a job, we are going to give you that job. If it's money, we are going to give you that money. And what they do is they get to the closest people around me. They get to my family. They tell them, you see, it is better that we have this dialogue so that we can sort this issue, but it is not an issue of money. It is not even an issue of a job. Again, I did not do that. I did not stand up because I wanted a job. I want things to work. And so it is true. Threats have been there. They have been following and calling family members and telling them, tell Mercy we have said this, tell Mercy we have said this, tell her to keep quiet. But until when? So it is very personal.
Schaefer, she said something here, and talking about Gen Z as it has been labeled. Some people feel there's an importance to labeling it as Gen Z-led movement and revolution, talking about fearless, tribeless, and leaderless. As just building up on what she has said, and also answering the question of whether all this has been worth it, which you have been following. Is it credit where it's due when we say this is a Gen Z-led movement?
Wow. First of all, I just want to say to every young person who's been in the streets and has been calling out for accountability and leadership that this has not been your issue alone. And you're very right, because this is not a Gen Z issue. It is Gen Zs who've come out, kind of being seen as leading this, and it is wonderful. And because credit must be given where credit is owed, right? Because also we are seeing a lot of the political elites wanting to kind of co-opt the movement, which is like, fuck the government. Anyway, What I want to say, first of all, I mean, you know me, you invite me, somebody's gonna be cast. This is the thing. But what I want to say, first of all, you asked a beautiful question, what does a luta continua mean? A luta continua for me is very personal because it always means every end is always a beginning. And we've seen that with movements because also we must connect the dots backwards. These movements are not just for specific contexts. They are happening now, but they're not for now, right? These are issues that have been here. These are things that when I was in the streets, and I still am kind of, sort of, we were talking about them, right? And the same reaction that all the young people are getting now is what we got. We were being told, oh, we are being funded by white people. And I'm like, but white people don't even live here. And if they live here, they don't get to suffer the way we suffer in this country. So I'm like, get it together, right? We were told we are trying to cause anarchy. We don't understand. The government has institutions. Leaders need time. Wait until the next election. All of this stuff is so unimaginative, boring, and old. And I'm like, the government is so tiring, right? So coming back to, was this worth it? I think every time anyone speaks so boldly and apologetically about any pain, any sort of injustice, any sort of thing that presses them about their country, it is worth it. You know, even if you're a soul voice, even if you're solitary, I think it is always worth it. And I think even just imagining where we would be now without seeing how incredibly magical and messy this entire moment has been, you know, and it is beautiful because I think we also have to make home within the discomfort and we have to make home in the mess because change is messy. Because people who do the change are complex human beings, and it is going to be messy. And we will feel a lot of discomfort, but we hope that the ruling class don't get to sleep because it is absolutely worth it. So I'm always, have people talk and talk always. Yeah.
That's a great answer. And I want to pivot to Senator Omtatah. You mentioned the ruling class. In some way, shape or form, at least politically speaking, you sit amongst these people. And on June the 25th, while some were running away in tunnels and really fearful for their life, perhaps having moments of reckoning, what was your feeling about that moment?
Well, first of all,
you just hold your mic up. So
mic up.
First of all, my office is on the 7th floor of Bunge Tower. So I had a bird's eye view of what was going on. And we had complained about the armed men who had been brought. They did not have any identifying mark other than the rifle, the sniper rifles they had, and they had a red whatever. So from my side, initially we had said that we go and meet the protesters and have them address us. Some of us volunteered, but the security people would not allow us to do that. We were stopped. And then the breaching, first of all, I believe that if the Kenya police wanted to stop anybody from getting into parliament, there was no force that could overpower the police. The police allowed it. The police simply allowed the thing to happen. They pulled back, but the people who are in civilian, whom we think we don't know who they answered to, are the people who are pulling people down. And I think after the first few shots were fired, that's when there was that surge that came in. And when you go to parliament, there's damage in parliament to areas where I know the protesters never reached. So the question is, who was damaging these things?
No, you're asking a very heavy question because the investigations so far have revealed that there was a gentleman who was on the precincts of parliament days before the protest, switching off CCTV. And as a senator, are you trying to say that the damage was engineered by someone else?
The damage was engineered by somebody else, and even if you look at it, you have not seen anybody with a Motolov. Even the police lorry, why was it allowed to burn to ashes? There were many vehicles with water that would put it out. How do you burn a mahogany table to ashes within minutes? What accelerant are you using? The story in parliament has not been told. Why is it that the tables were shown broken and not the plates which were used for eating that food? You see? So you begin analyzing what happened there. it was after the snipers had killed people, they had to create a backdrop to justify the violence. That young man who said, Mr. Speaker, sir, he was inside the people's chamber. Why was he killed? Did he threaten anybody? And so, when they ran into the tunnel, and some of us had tried to prevail on the National Assembly. First of all, there's been a conspiracy between the National Assembly and the executive not to bring the budget to the Senate, because the Senate are very few people. We have a Senate of 67. The nominated senators, that's 16 women and representing youth and disability, the 4, do not have a vote. So the only people who vote are the elected senators. So we are only 67. We are able to have a meeting of minds on anything. And that's what the executive has been trying to avoid. So while even the constitution is very clear, the budget is supposed to come to the Senate, but from Uhuru days, they have never done it. They have avoided the Senate. So we're largely bystanders to what was happening. But when these people began running into the tunnels and what have you, when the place had been breached, you would realize that there was no violence from the protesters. You saw the physically the disabled member of parliament, the bishop. He was not harassed. And even very many MPs who ran into these young people, they were not harassed. Nobody was harassed. No MP was hit. People were mocked, yes, but being hit, nobody was hit. That much I can say. So from where I was and from what I saw, there was no justification for that kind of violence. But I still believe that if anybody knows if anybody has got any sense, he should have seen that the police stepped back. And I don't know if you know that on that day there was no arrest during the demos. No, not a single person was arrested. That's why you need to see that this struggle here is a Gen Z led, but it has got very many sympathizers. And people are beginning to understand that this country can be better managed. And even when they wanted to do the adjournment, because the National Assembly reconvened quickly and under panic, they rubber stamped the decision to get the military out. In the Senate, we met and said we have to vote it out. We have to vote it down. So when they learned of that, they moved a motion to have the Senate go on adjourn, which we defeated and refused and said we are going to stay put and we are going to continue engaging with whatever is happening. So what for me happened is that the Kenyan street, which I must say from my own background, I'm very happy because when we used to protest, the first time I protested, it was 1994, and I protested alone. When Moi wanted to take over the National Theatre to convert it into a parking. I don't know how many of you remember that story. And we planned that we go out and demonstrate. When the Jeshu lorries came there, people became very smart. They began saying we can resist through our mind. So they melted away, and I ended up doing a demo of one person. I was arrested. I was locked up at Central. I went on a hunger strike. We have the theater today. So there was a time when people used to vilify the street, especially the journalists used to look at people going on the street as idlers, until that one time when they had to come out with their mouths sealed and with pens because something had happened to them, and they found that the only way they could express themselves was the Kenyan street. And the street, for me, is the highest arena for political engagement. And the ruling class lives on the street, not in parliament. Because if the street decides, that's the law.
In your view, Senator Omtatah, does Parliament, the National Assembly, I should say, does it, after June the 25th, have the legitimacy to continue on as it did prior? Do you think that Parliament can legitimately continue to function in the way that it did, given the kind of dissent that's been expressed up until this point?
I would answer that question by referring to her. I think we have to go before 25th. And even people have been asking, who is the leader of this resolution? the leader is for me William Ruto. He's the one leading this revolution because he's doing things that are really annoying people and getting Kenyans angry. And they come. He's the real leader.
Do we agree that William Ruto?
We all agree. Yes.
So, in terms of parliament.
So I'm the stranger in Jerusalem here.
In terms of parliament, look at how it happened. When Ruto was elected, he did not have a majority in parliament. The people of Kenya did not give him a majority. He has ruled using a false majority. He enticed MPs to cross over, which was wrong. So he has been ruling using a false majority. So parliament has not been representative of the people because the parliament people elected is not the parliament sitting today. Even in the Senate, we had 23-23. I had a deciding vote as an independent. But now I think it is 16 against the others. He has bought off people to go across. So when you ask that question for me, I think that the parliament lost its legitimacy the day the majority changed from being in the opposition to being in government through machinations and through influence. So that false majority is what the people fought and rejected. The only saving grace for me would be for parliament is if these people smell the coffee and go back to the formation the people gave them. Go back to the sites on which they were elected, and then that way they proceed. Or they weed out the chaff by recalling these people, now that the courts have made it a bit easier. But for me, Parliament and the National Assembly, I may not want to condemn it so much, but maybe there are design problems that need to be addressed. When CDF was given to the MPs and not to the executive like it's done in India where it was borrowed from, most MPs just look at CDF, and so it is a quid pro quo. The government simply has to up the CDF, and the people and the members of parliament say, okay, why do we sign? And they approve whatever they want to approve. So for me, if CDF is taken out and put back to the executive, so even bring the money for the constituency, but the money should be managed by the executive, we shall restore some sanity in parliament. But if that confusion continues, whereby we interfere with the design of the institutions, whereby it's designed that a legislator should not be an executor. If we go back and sanitize that, then it can continue serving. But if we don't sanitize that, then Kenya does not have a parliament, and especially the National Assembly is a very, very, very sad state of affairs.
Really sad state of affairs, and you brought a perspective that I haven't looked at it that way, and sijui kama itamfikia, but to say that the president is a leader of this revolution effectively by the decisions he's made is a perspective we haven't quite looked at, but maybe something that needs to be at the center of discussion. And I'll bring it to you, David Duke, because in your expertise as a conflict resolution expert, the dialogue was meant to have started today, some type of dialogue. It hasn't. For the next 6 days, they said. And the conversation has been, who should be in that room? And what should be the irreducible minimums? Do you think the approach is wrong in how we're going to this issue called dialogue to bring sanity? Because we're in a sad state of affairs.
Thank you, Mark, for the question. If you'll allow me, I'd like to first pay homage to Honorable Omtatah. I am an admirer, and I think I like and stand by everything you stand for. So thank you for being who you are and carry on with what you're doing. If anyone was expecting dialogue, I don't know what y'all are smoking, but it was never going to happen.
Well, this is from a crisis analysis and management who is asking us, is anybody smoking anything that we don't know about?
I don't mean that in any facetious manner, but our president, if you'll allow me, I'll look at it from both sides of the fence. Our president on the 25th was faced with something that he didn't think was going to happen. That is why that is why Parliament sat and, the bill went through even after all the protests. He didn't expect it. He just thought it was going to go the way people will. To use the words that someone told me as I was going home on that day, watu watapiga kelele and then they'll go home. Well, walipiga kelele na wakachoma. So that is how he understood that, you can't just, bulldoze your way through doing things. So that was the first wake-up call for him. And what he did after that, and I think this is something that we've both all seen throughout His Excellency, the President's career in politics, is that sometimes he gets head rushes where he goes, I don't know whether he's being advised correctly or he just does things based on what he views is right. Either way, it's fine. But you cannot go on TV on the same day where the people essentially have told you, look, we don't want this thing. And you go on TV and call us, you say that we are treasonous criminals. I mean, that's problem number one. Problem number two is now what he did the next day. I think he should have taken a leaf from Kibaki. Kibaki was the master of inaction. Sometimes you need to let the fire die down. Let people say their bit, and then you come back, give it a day or two after, because, for example, Mark, if I steal your car right now, and I drive off, and I come back with it, and it's been banged up, you're not too happy with me, are you? No. And here I am trying to tell you, relax. You don't want to hear anything from me. So if I return the vehicle and say, we'll talk tomorrow, give people the time. This is a psychological aspect of conflict resolution. You must give people time to get their minds right so that they can come back and listen to you. In politics, and this is something that my good senior might correct me, I stand to be corrected. In politics, sometimes you need space to operate and show people that, look, okay, I've heard you. And the fact that he has a lot of reputation for talking and not doing much, don't talk. Just, you've heard us, okay, I'm not going to sign the bill. Then just keep quiet, just leave it alone. In answer to your question, in terms of the dialogue was never going to come because, number one, I refer to the book by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Something part I remember is the hardest battle to fight is with an enemy you can't see, you don't know. So if our president is the leader of the revolution, so is he essentially fighting himself? Is he essentially fighting himself in the sense that if he's fighting a war with us, or sorry, not us, if he's fighting a war, and it's a war that is a movement that has no leader, no tribe, and they're essentially fearless. So if we are supposed to view, currently right now we are viewing him as the leader of the movement. So I have a question for all my panelists. Is he essentially fighting himself?
I mean, that's a good question. I think the senator from Busia has weighed in. I think I'd ask an additional question. So if there's no person who he can speak to, and maybe perhaps this, without putting words in the president's mouth, this is possibly the reason why today's dialogue didn't kick off. No, if there's nobody who he can speak to, and we've seen movements in the past that are essentially, and I don't want to give this sort of war tag to what's happening here, and I'll just use it for theoretical purposes. A guerrilla, it's almost like guerrilla warfare. You're fighting an enemy that you can't see. You're dealing with an enemy that you can't see. So from a crisis and analysis point of view, how then do you resolve that? Because anybody could be your enemy, anybody could be your ally.
I think the president is in a very unique situation here. And when I said I'm going to look at it from both sides of the fence, I'll start by the government. Regardless of what we all feel as Kenyans, he still has a job to do as the leader of the country. And the one thing he cannot do is show weakness. This is just from a purely professional point of view. He cannot show weakness. The moment he shows weakness, Kenyan politics, he will be eaten alive. So he must do what that's the reason why the cabinet had to go home. He had to re-establish his, someone talked about you asked about the legitimacy for the current, well, there you go. There's your answer right there. He needs to clear out and bring back a legitimate face for it. So if you cannot, if you cannot find the leader of movement, then the best thing that you can do in such a situation is action.
Uko kwa mood ya nini? Uko kwa mood ya nini? Uko kwa mood ya nini? Uko na mood ya nini? And then, ladies and gentlemen, we better bounce it right now. Remember, the hashtag is Wabebe XP across all socials. Sana sana pale X, ama Twitter. Unajua wale soma nene barjosho. Sasa kwako ni Twitter. So, Wabebe XP across all socials. Na pia remember pale on YouTube, Willis Raburu's Wabebe XP. Remember to subscribe. Remember pale notification bell. Yani tukiangusha kitu, you'll be the first one to make sure umeipata hapo. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tunashukuru tena sana sana. Waambieni salute. Waambieni salute. And then baada tumalizi hivyo, kwa majina ni Hypola kama kawaida, nimekuwa na DJ Karian. Show some love for DJ Karian. Alafu tumalize na nyie, sema Wabebe. 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 So ladies and gentlemen, kwa nini tusimalize hivi? If you love soccer right now, look how we are. We are the dreamers. Say, we make it happen. Chidi. Look who we are. Say, we are the dreamers. We make it happen. 1, 2. What's what Portugal? Mikono Joe. What's what Germany? What's what Spain? What's what Netherlands? Let's go! Fire! You know the dance?
Since 1947, the matter never settled. You be but I be careful. Masability no ya walenu. Better recognize. Better survive. No one than in the go come. That's a they shut it up. On that out.
Ngoja. Ambia DJ ngoja. Wabebe. Korean. Say hola, we wanna party. One time. Somebody say, Korean, we wanna party. Say, we wanna party. Hey, kila mtu say, BAZU, we wanna party. Somebody say, fire. Follow. Whoa. Way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in.